Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How you doing today? It's Saturday and I'm finally getting into my craft room. I've done some cleaning and some shopping and I'm like, that's enough of that. I need to get in here and have some fun. So I thought I would update you on this book that we're working on. We're turning this hardback book into a journal. And so welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. What we've done and the stage we're at is where we've added the pages and now we're working on the pages before we sew them in. We're doing our sewing, we're adding tucks and whatever, flip ups and pockets and things. So let me just show you where I'm at. Here's the 3 signatures. Here's what they look like. I think I have all the pages I can fit in here right now. I added a couple more than I had planned, so we'll get to those in a second, but just so you can see the view of what it is looking like from the side right now and kind of like what it's going to look like when it's sewn in. You kind of get the general idea just from that. So I think it's at a good stage as far as the number of pages. Like you can see there's a lot of pages, but when it sits, it's not too bulky. Now I haven't added any tags or journal cards yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some tags and journal cards, but I'm going to put all the extras that won't fit in here in an extra ephemera folder, in the goodie bag, if you will, that I send along with my journals, so that this doesn't get to be like this by the time we're done putting things in here. So anyway, so what I did to the pages was basically I did things like things that I couldn't show on the camera. I did the sewing. So just to give you an idea of what you can do, and what you can sew onto your pages if you've never done this before. I had this little card sitting here from one of these books. I think it was from this one. So I had cut it out. It was on one of the pages, and it's a pretty little card. It's just a piece of the page. I cut it out, and then I had the word Valentine sitting here on my table, and I was like, well, that, and I just put them together over on the table. I was like, they were sitting like this, and I was like, that is so cute. So I glued it right on there and sewed it on. It's sewn right here and here with a straight stitch, just in case you've never sewn anything on before onto a paper or onto a book page where you're making a journal. You can use a straight stitch or you can use any stitch you want, but I usually end up using 2 basic stitches, a straight stitch or a zigzag. So this I used a straight stitch because I didn't want to take up my pocket space with a zigzag. Even though it's small, it does take up a little bit more room than a straight stitch. So I wanted to use a straight stitch here, so I didn't take up my pocket room here. So I do have a little side tuck, and I thought this color, and it has like a pinkish or mauvish border, and it went well with this scrapbook paper here, scrapbook paper page, so I put it right on there. And on 2 pages on each signature, I sewed some lace, and on that I also did a straight stitch because, well, actually some of them I glued on and then stitched because this particular roll of lace, it's the lace from Dollar Tree. I just love this lace. It's like amazing that you can get this beautiful crochet lace for $1. It's really amazes me. So I think we're very fortunate to be able to get that at Dollar Tree. So anyway, some of it apparently when they put it on this one, I've never gotten a roll that was messed up, but this one apparently when it went onto the roll, I don't know how they do it in their factory or whatever, but it wasn't flat, and so it was kind of folded. So in order to take the fold out, I glued it down. Like this one I glued down and then sewed in order to make it flat again. But the ones that were already flat, I didn't glue down. I just sewed them on. So that's just a little information in case you get one that's messed up and you're like, well, how am I going to sew this down? It's folded and, it won't lay down. It won't let me, get it under the sewing machine and lay down and it won't cooperate. I just glued it down with, I think I used Fabri-Tac so it would just hold it down for me, and I let it dry for a minute, and then so I wouldn't get glue on my needle, and then I just sewed it also. I actually didn't have to sew it, but I just wanted them all to be sewn. You know, you can't even really see the thread on this side, but you can see it on this side. So I just wanted them all to have that sewn on look, even though I glued it on. So you can just glue them on if you don't want to sew. So again, you know, we did the ledger page pockets. You saw that in the last video. Let me see what else I've sewn on. You can kind of see the pages. I added, this is onion skin. I wanted to add a tracing paper or onion skin, and I actually got this at an estate sale last summer, I think it was, or maybe in early fall, and I hadn't used any of it, and I was like, oh, you know, I was thinking tracing paper, and I was like, oh, I haven't used any of that onion skin. Let me get that out and use it in here. So I did. So onion skin, there's our pocket. And I said I had to coffee dye the back of these scrapbook paper pages, which I did. You can see the pretty coffee dyeing here. Let's see, I don't have any more blank ones in this signature right now, do I? No. So anyway, I did do that. And then this is like this is almost like a glassine kind of paper bag, brown paper bag that I have. And I haven't used any of these in a while. And I was thinking, you know, when my mind went to tracing paper, and then I went to onion skin, and I was like, oh, what about those bags that I haven't used in so long? I wonder, that would be neat to have in here. You know, most of us love that little crinkle. So these are the perfect little crinkly bags, right? So you saw the Edith Holden. I did do a little bit of rubber stamping. I put one rubber stamp in each one. Since this is kind of like, this is my Valentine journals, I'm not really making them like all out Valentine, but I am making them kind of Valentine related, or, you know, love, relationships, whatever, that type of journal, friendship, you know, any of that type of thing. They could even be used for Mother's Day, I would think. So, or just a general overall generic journal. So I'm kind of making them generic, but with a kind of friendship, love, Valentine little elements here and there, just to give a nod to Valentine's Day, give a nod to hearts and things like that. So I put one heart rubber stamp in each signature, so I didn't go overboard with the hearts, but not yet anyway. You know, I don't know what will happen before the end, but we'll see about that. The onion skin does have a flip out on this side. And let's see, what else do I need to show you? Just you can see I've added, trying to see what I've added since the last video. On the book pages, just so you know, I'll probably mention it in the flip through, but I'll mention it now too. There's some writing, like whoever had this book, I think I mentioned it in the beginning too. Whoever had this book read it, and they took it seriously, because they made little marks in here with the pen, like here's one right here. They underline things once in a while. So yeah, they took it seriously. So, and I was noticing, you know, I haven't read all the words. Like, oh, here's some underlining right here. For some reason, this is a little bit underlined. But for some reason, if you get a book like this or a journal and you don't like the words, you can put a piece of writing paper, like a doily or some coffee dyed paper, tear it or cut it or whatever, however you like it, and put it down and cover up the words you don't like. You know, there's no like bad words in here, but I'm just saying, if there's some wording, something you say, oh, I don't like that, cover it up, you know, with a picture even, or your, you know, mementos. So anyway, that's just a little, you know, information. Here, I did do that as an example. There wasn't anything I didn't like, except for there's a little writing under here. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and cover it up. I wanted to put a doily in here anyway. I coffee dyed some doilies, and Maria had sent me some, and I think I have one left from Maria. They came in so handy, and they were so beautiful that I was like, oh, why haven't I done this? I had coffee dyed some large ones, but no small ones. So I was like, okay, I'm doing this. So last night, I think, or the night before, I think it was last night, here they are right here. I still have them here ready for me to use in these journals, but all of this lusciousness here, coffee dyed doilies, and they came out so pretty. I just love them. I mean, all different patterns. Look at this. Aren't they beautiful? I just love them. I loved Maria's and I love mine, so I might even put them in my shop because, you know, I did all of these in one night, so they were so pretty, and I just thought, well, why don't I share these in my shop? That would be fun. I loved doing it. I loved coffee. I love coffee dyeing. I don't mind it at all, and you know, I can't do a whole heck of a lot at one time, but you know, I can put, you know, a few in my listing and then keep making them, you know, and they add up pretty fast as far as I can use my space that I have to do coffee dyeing, and I don't want to have to do it every night, but you know what I mean. I can do it several times during the week and you know, have enough for me and my shop, right? So I don't know, I might do that. Anyway, so here's the next signature. Let me see. Basically, you know, all the signatures have similar items like the Edith Holden. You know, like I said, I put lace on 2 pages. There's some of the lace there. Let's see, what else? Oh, I put a flip up here with a piece of scrap Edith Holden right here. It's a flip up and a tuck spot. I'll show you. Right here. Someone's coming in my back door if you hear anything. Hello?
Hello?
I'm on video, but you can say hi.
Oh, hey. Just getting a key.
Okay, that's my son. Come by, say hi. Always nice to see your son. Okay, so here's a doily here. I put in this signature on this page. I think there was some writing there too, so I tried to pick out a page with writing on it to put my beautiful coffee dyed doily. So nice to see your son, right? Just even if he was stopping by to get a key. So it's always nice to see his face, right? He doesn't live here, so you know, I don't see him every day, so that's awesome for him to pop in like that. He lives down the street, but still I don't see him every day. You know how boys are. Anyway, here's some of that coffee dyed paper scrapbook paper that I coffee dyed. Came out really nice. Let's see. What else do I need to share? I think here's some of the onion skin. And yeah, it's sticking to my... I tried to let it... You know how we do. We try to let it dry and be patient before we move on, but it's hard. It's hard to be patient and let things dry, right? So anyway, it's fine. But there's another coffee dyed doily. So pretty. Here's the heart in this one. So that's where I'm at. I'll let you go. I won't keep you. This is just a quick update. I did sew on all the pockets that we made with the scrapbook paper and the ledger. I did sew on all of those on the sides with a cross stitch, zigzag stitch. So that's where we're at. What's next? I finished doing what I just showed you this morning. It's Saturday. I finished Saturday morning with this. I worked on it a little bit this morning with the sewing. And I said, not sure what I want to do next. I don't know if I want to go ahead and sew on the pages or if there's anything else I want to do on the pages. And my craft room was an utter, well, at least this table right here was an utter pile of mess here. And I couldn't function. So I said, let me put this aside for the day and think about whether I want to add anything more to the pages before I sew them in. And then I will sew them in. So sewing them in will probably be the next video, I guess. And then also the next one will be working on the journal cards and things too. So that's the next 2 videos. And for the sewing in, I probably won't do all 3 on video, but I'll do 1. And so you know, it's just a 3 pamphlet stitch that I'm going to do on this one. It's not a big, huge book. So yeah, I'll probably just do 3 pamphlet stitch on here to show you how I do it. And if that video comes out, well, then I'll actually publish it. But you know, it's not hard to sew them in. It's just sometimes you just got to work with it a little bit to get everything in. So you know, once you do it, you'll know what I mean if you've never done it before. But mine always come out nice, and you know, I'll have to find some matching. I hope I have some matching. I'm sure I have some kind of matching thread, but anyway, I'll go see what I have and make sure I have some before I go to sew this in. I'm trying to use what I have, but when it comes to sewing them in, I use wax cord. I like that best. It's really strong, and it's easy to work with. So anyway, I'll quit babbling, and I'll see you next time, and happy crafting.